Coming up on UCF Nightly News, a Texas hospital is receiving negative attention after nurses spoke out about what failed safety measures happened while treating an Ebola patient. Find out what they said hospital officials did wrong.
Governor Rick Scott and Governor Charlie Crist faced off this week in their second debate. But there's a strange twist. Find out why the debate almost didn't happen and what the candidates had to say. And revenge porn is still legal in Florida. A Central Florida victim speaks out in an exclusive interview. You're watching Nightly News covering the university community in the greater Central Florida area.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Katie Callahan.
And I'm Melissa Lujan. Today's Friday, October 17th.
Nightly News is following the development of the Ebola outbreak.
And here in the U.S., CDC officials report 2 more people diagnosed with the virus this week. Nurses Amber Vinson and Nina Pham from Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas are now under treatment. CDC representatives say Vinson flew on a commercial jet Monday with a temperature of 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Doctors flew her into Emory Hospital in Atlanta for treatment. Texas nurses say there were no clear instructions on protective gear during the treatment of the first patient in the U.S.
There were no protocols in place, and nurses and doctors in the hospital were having to come up with their own protocols and figure out what they were supposed to wear.
In Dallas, with Ebola.
President Obama addressed the recent cases and says he knows the U.S. health system is equipped to protect American citizens. Right now, health officials still do not report any cases in Florida, but Florida representatives say Rick Scott plans to spend more than $7 million for Ebola protective gear. Orlando health officials say they purchased $600,000 of gear for Central Florida. Same-sex marriage supporters got some hope on Tuesday when Orange County commissioners took a public stand to support marriage equality. Commissioners voted 5-2, calling on judges to overturn Florida's ban on same-sex marriage. Attorney General Pam Bondi defends the ban and says she wants the state Supreme Court to decide if it's legal. Candidates also spoke about marriage equality this week.
Governor Rick Scott and former Governor Charlie Crist had their second debate on Wednesday. The event got off to a strange start when Scott refused to come on stage because of an electronic fan under Crist's podium. Scott said the fan violated debate rules, but the two eventually had their chance to face off and discussed many issues ranging from education costs to the economy. One big topic, though, was same-sex marriage. And while both candidates say they don't believe in discrimination, they had different responses.
I can tell you, I don't believe in discrimination. I believe in traditional marriage. The court's going to decide. This is a decision for the courts, and they'll ultimately make the decision.
Who is it for us to tell other people who to love? And what is it in our right to tell other people who to marry?
Candidates will debate one last time before the election, and you can watch them on Tuesday, October 21st on CNN.
Should it be illegal to post nude pictures of another person online? This year, the Florida legislature struck down a bill that would prohibit this so-called revenge porn to be posted without permission. I looked into how UCF officials plan to help students if faced with this situation. And in an exclusive interview with Nightly News, a victim told me how she overcame it.
But what really hurts was that he was my friend and he did that. And he clearly wanted to hurt me.
Monica became a victim when the photographer she was working with surfaced nude pictures of her online without permission. To respect her privacy, we are not mentioning her last name.
Of course, I freaked out and I told him to take it down, and he wouldn't do it. And years went by and they just stayed up.
Monica said she can't believe that revenge porn is still legal in Florida. That's because the Florida legislature failed to pass a bill in May that would make revenge porn illegal, leaving many victims, such as 29-year-old Monica, with little compensation. And now UCF officials are trying to educate students on the subject.
Right now, revenge porn is not a violation of the statutes. It more falls under the cyber stalking or extortion laws, depending upon how the circumstances play out. So it's really, really important for the students to know that they can report it, but it just may not be exactly what they think it is.
UCF PD, Victim Services, and Student Legal Services held a seminar Wednesday to discuss the prevention and legality of revenge porn. UCF Legal Services officials say the best way to protect yourself is to avoid being in that situation. Monica said she's not ashamed of the photos, but she is afraid it could affect the future of her career.
National Conference of State Legislatures records show that revenge porn is illegal in only 13 states. If you're a victim of this situation, you can go to UCFPD and Victim Services for help.
And while it may not be revenge porn, hundreds of thousands of people are now facing a similar situation. If you use the popular smartphone app Snapchat, there's a chance that your photos are now public. On Sunday, an anonymous hacker leaked more than 100,000 private Snapchat pictures and videos on the internet site 4chan. Snapchat officials say the hacker did not steal the photos from Snapchat, but from a third-party app which saves the snaps even after they delete themselves. They say they recommend not using any third-party applications because it jeopardizes the privacy that Snapchat guarantees. Representatives also say that 50% of the users are under 18, so there's a concern of child pornography. If the pictures do show nude photos and videos of minors, it's illegal to possess or view the content. Now it's time for a first look at our weather, and Al joins us at the desk.
Yes, and the weather has been cooler lately, which I love. Al, will it stay like this?
Yes, it will actually stay a bit cooler, at least for the next week or so. Cold front coming in, and you look outside right now, it's only 79 degrees, 51% humidity. There is a slight breeze with 8-mile-per-hour winds coming out of the northwest, and a chance of rain is at 0, so it's looking like we'll have a nice dry day. We'll have a little bit more on the forecast and your whole 5-day outlook a little bit later in the show.
Thanks, Al. And still ahead on Nightly News, homecoming's almost here. Stick around to hear all about the special events.
And pumpkin spice is everywhere. Find out how the flavor craze could be harmful to your health. Nightly News reporter Arnold Godoy joins us for a special report.
Yes, Arnold, we understand there's some controversy with the Miss UCF pageant.
That's right. Earlier this week, Alma Hill, a Miss UCF pageant contestant, found out she could not compete because she has a child. Campus Activity Board officials later reinstated her after one of her Facebook posts about being disqualified received a lot of attention. Yesterday, I sat down with Hill for an exclusive in-depth interview.
Girls compete in the Miss UCF competition so that they can be considered for Miss Florida. This is a big opportunity, and for them to discount everybody just because they don't want to give me the opportunity to compete is completely discriminatory and unfair to so many people on so many levels.
Hill says CAB members are being supportive throughout this whole process, and just a few hours ago, an Office of Student Involvement representative told me both they and CAB knew they did not meet the requirements for the Miss America organization, so they decided to not move forward with their franchise agreement. We reached out to the Miss Florida America pageant, but we have not received a response. Nightly News will keep you updated, so be sure to check out our website for more information.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of strong opinions on both sides.
Definitely. Hill, she feels very strongly about not having to give up something simply because she's a mother, and OSI is standing firmly behind the students.
Yeah, it's great that UCF is supporting something that a student wants to do.
Yeah, it seems like some rules may need to be changed with that, but homecoming week kicks off in just a few days.
That's right, and students are anticipating the week full of fun and free events starting on Sunday. The festivities are highlighted by a concert featuring B.O.B., Iconopop on Monday, then Comedian Night on Tuesday with Chris D'Elia. The two premier events come at the end of the week, though, with Spirit Splash on Friday at 2 p.m. and the football team hosts the Temple Owls on Saturday at 5 o'clock for the homecoming game.
I love Spirit Splash. I like trying to catch the ducks. I have one from the last 2 years, and I like the sense of community that we're all getting together for one big event.
For a full list of the events, visit nightlynews.ucf.edu.
The fall season is in full swing and pumpkin-flavored foods are thriving. Pumpkin spice is profitable for most businesses, but what does it do to your health? Nightly News reporter Maria Laporta investigates if the pumpkin fad is worth the trend.
Pumpkin lattes, pumpkin donuts, and pumpkin bagels. The season for all things pumpkin is upon us, and fans of the flavor are rejoicing.
I absolutely love pumpkin. Anyways, pumpkin pie is probably my favorite dessert, so.
I like the lattes. They taste pretty good. Get them from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts.
But some consumers don't understand all the buzz.
I have yet to buy anything pumpkin spice. Not really my thing.
Nielsen retail research shows sales of pumpkin spice flavored items rose 19% since 2012.
But what's missing from these pumpkin spice flavored foods? Actual pumpkin.
The Society of Flavor Chemists reports there are over 80 additives and artificial flavors in most pumpkin-flavored foods and drinks. And health experts say all the extra sugar and calories add up.
If you go overboard and you're having it 2 and 3 times a day because it's seasonal, then how much extra sugar are you putting? How much extra calories are you putting into your body? That's what I would be a little bit more concerned about.
The best way to survive the trend? Volpert says to use puree from real pumpkins to spice up your food and drinks. In Orlando, Maria Laporto, UCF Nightly News.
Mayo Clinic research shows additives in foods like pumpkin spice treats can potentially lead to cancer. For recipes and healthier options to enjoy pumpkin this season, visit nightlynews.ucf.edu.
It's hard to imagine segregation still exists in the U.S. today. The award-winning film Prom Night in Mississippi is coming to UCF, and it tells a story of the first integrated prom and its impact on the community.
You know, it doesn't take a lot to create positive social change.
In 2008, actor Morgan Freeman paid for the first racially integrated prom at Charleston High School in Mississippi. And while the dance preparations unfolded, cameras rolled to capture history. Even though the film is about a high school dance, it dives deep into the racial tensions that exist in one small town.
There is no more black prom. And there still is a white prom. There still are people who will not allow their children, their teenagers, to socialize with people of color. So there still is a small white prom in Charleston, Mississippi.
If you want to see the documentary, go to the Student Union this Monday from 3 to 6 in room 316.
Our very own Sergeant Christopher Gavitt is gaining national recognition for his service to the UCF community. Sergeant Gavitt is one of 3 winners nationwide for the prestigious Rice Law Enforcement Awards. This is the first time the awards were ever given, and Sergeant Gavin won the leadership category for training and educating other officers. Still ahead on Nightly News, New Smyrna Beach officials reported 3 shark attacks this month. We spoke to experts who shared tips on how to stay safe in the ocean.
And the fall weather is finally here, or so it seems. When we come back, I'll tell you what to expect for the next few days, especially for our tailgate tomorrow.
The number of shark attacks is up, and Florida accounts for more than 40% of total shark bites worldwide. Earlier this week, I looked into new technology to help people stay safe in the water.
The sharks occasionally will come up to a person not knowing what they are, and their way of trying to figure that out is to take a bite out of somebody.
In the last 2 weeks, researchers from the International Shark Attack File recorded 9 shark bites worldwide, with 4 of those bites happening in the shark capital of the world, New Smyrna Beach. Shark experts say the reason shark bites are on the rise is because as the weather gets cooler, the water gets warmer. This brings more surfers and more bait fish to shallow waters.
And in fact, many of the species of sharks follow the same migration patterns that the tourists do. They're snowbirds, and so they come down for the winter, and then as the summer progresses, they move up the coastline.
And experts say more than half of the attacks happen to surfers because of murky waters and because they splash close to the surface. But new research on shark repellent technology could help oceangoers stay safe in the water. Shark Bands is the first company to create a product using permanent magnetics to disrupt a shark's electroreceptors.
If a shark bites you, it's going to cause some significant damage no matter what. And what our product does is it really interferes with that shark's electrical sense as it approaches, and it will turn away in understanding that the person is not food.
It's been scientifically proven to repel 10 of the most common sharks that bite people.
But Shark Band reps say their product can't protect against 100% of attacks. And Burgess says the only people who go in the water a lot would really benefit from buying this product.
Now let's take a look at our weather. Al has our forecast.
Thank you, Katie and Melissa. We'll start with a look at our state temperature maps, and as you can see, it's pretty cool throughout the entire state, pretty consistent. See 78 at Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Tampa, just a tick warmer here in Orlando, and then Miami, just 2 degrees warmer down south, but not much of a difference. Moving on to our national water vapor map, you see that there isn't a whole lot of water throughout the state or the nation. We're not expecting a lot of rain today, tomorrow, or through the weekend, but there's a lot of water vapor up in the northeast around New England. That's being caused by Hurricane Gonzalo. Hurricane Gonzalo, you see right there, is off the east coast in the Atlantic, and it's actually going to be moving northeast, and it's going to be around here in the middle of the Atlantic by Monday, so no need to worry about Gonzalo really bringing too much rain to the United States. And moving on to our 5-day forecast, you'll see right here that it is a bit cooler, and it'll stay that way for the next few days, the lows being in the low to mid 60s and the highs in the mid 80s. You see on Saturday the highs 85, a low 60, 0% chance of rain, so that's great news for tailgaters. And then Sunday continues 0 chance of rain, and then up to 20 and 10 as we get into the week, but still pretty good, I think, for Florida. That's it for weather. And now back to the desk with Melissa and Katie.
Thanks, Al. And basketball season is right around the corner, which is why Brittany joins us at the desk.
Yeah, guys, stick around and I'll tell you what UCF basketball expects for the coming season. Sports is up next.
Bruh.
Hello, Knights fans, and welcome to your UCF Sports Update. I'm Brittany Jackson. Basketball season is right around the corner, and reporter Paige Sterner was there for the team's annual media day. The men and women's teams showed up and answered questions about what they overcame in the offseason and how they plan to succeed come November.
Big transition year for us, but I think that this team could do some good things.
With a new team comes new challenges. Between incoming players and a different conference, the men's basketball team is facing many obstacles this season. After the loss of the 3 leading scorers, Isaiah Sykes, Calvin Newell, and Tristan Spurlock, Coach Jones says the team will have to work together in order to put points on the board.
Now this year, losing those guys will be depending on our team. I don't know if we have one guy that's going to be like Isaiah Sykes. We got to do that by committee. And I think what I like about this team is I think we can be better defensively.
Coach Jones says Casey Wilson, the only senior on the team, has a leg up on the competition for a starting spot. It's likely young players like Justin McBride and BJ Taylor will look to Wilson for leadership. For the women's team, head coach Joy Williams addressed the media about her thoughts on the upcoming season.
I think they're very excited. You know, it's different. We've got a brand new coaching staff, and the pace is a lot different. We're really emphasizing that in practice, that we want to go at a faster pace. We'll probably play 4 guards a lot this year.
As the season approaches, both teams are looking to improve after disappointing performances last year. In Orlando, Paige Sterner, UCF Nightly News.
Both teams will continue to practice until the season opener. The men begin on Sunday, November 16th against Stetson, and the women start November 7th against St. Leo. Now it's time for NFL Nights. It was another busy week for our alumni. Storm Johnson made his first career start for the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday against the Tennessee Titans, scoring his first career touchdown and rushing for 21 yards. Blake Bortles also started against the Titans. He connected 32 of 46 passes for 336 yards and a touchdown. But the Jags' comeback attempt fell short in the fourth, and they lost 16-14. In Chicago, Bears wide receiver Brandon Marshall aided his team in a big win Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons with 6 receptions for 113 yards. And big news for kicker Matt Prater, who was released from the Broncos last week. He signed with the Detroit Lions, but only connected on one of his 3 field goal attempts. And Night fans, make sure you get your rest tonight. You'll have to be up bright and early to kick off the tailgate for tomorrow's game against Tulane. We face the Green Wave at 12 p.m. at Bright House Network Stadium. Tulane holds a 2-4 record and will be our second conference play matchup. I hope to see you guys at the game. I know I'll be there. That's it for sports. Back to Melissa and Katie at the desk.
Thanks, Brittany, and that's all the time we have for now. Thanks for watching. Join us here again next week. Until then, have a great weekend. I was like, what?